this is a short made by friends with no money, like this is literally the indie guerrilla filmmaking. And when we made it, it was like a call for action on immigration reform at the time of like, let's this just happened, so let's like be sure that no matter the president and no matter who is in power, the bureaucratic process is more human and it's has more empathy. And so it doesn't matter the political views of people.
Hello, hello, Andrea. Andrea,
How are you?
good and you? Yes, thank you so much for your
Very good.
time. Thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to talk to you. And first, congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you.
A
It's
LIEN was
incredible.
nominated for Best Live Action Short Film. Can you recall that feeling when you first heard the news?
Yes. And I was at Sundance because I had another project there. It was the day of my premiere at Sundance, actually. And I woke up at 6 to see the ceremony. They do a ceremony to announce the nominations. Yeah, and I got my phone, and it was in alphabetical order, so I knew the first one nominated. And it was going very fast. It was like, and the nomination is reading it super fast. Second, test it that it happened, and then they have a big page with like they say all the five nominations, and then they show like all of them together. I was like, oh, no, it happened. And right away, I called the director, and he didn't reply right away. And then 5 minutes later, he called me, and he was asleep. He did not see it. But he knew because he woke up and he had a million texts, and his girlfriend told him, etc. Yeah, it was surreal. It's still surreal.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I was really happy that you're half a Brazilian, so we
Yeah.
are really happy for that and very proud of everything. So, how did you get involved in the project? Like, let's go start from there, right?
Yeah. So Sam is a director that worked before a lot in music videos and commercial. He was a cinematographer before, and then he decided he wanted to transition into directing. So him and his brother started directing together. His brother is a school teacher. He did not go to film school. He's obviously very passionate about film, has an amazing knowledge of it. But he's still today a school teacher. He's like the week of the Oscars. He's gonna go to school and teach to
Oh my
sixth
God.
grade kids. Yeah,
Oh, amazing.
it's amazing. And he will obviously at the end of the year leave his day job. But it was basically Sam came to me and was like, I want to do more narrative work, and he had a short film that I really wanted to do, but anyways, it didn't work out. And then he had this other script, and he sent it to me, and I obviously really connected with it because been an immigrant in all my life, and I started seeing it right away when I'm reading the script. But also, I was like, I cannot believe what I'm reading because it's so absurd. I was like, wait, do you have some lawyer backing, some real research? And then they explain me everything, and obviously outside of obviously having lawyers and associations that work with the immigrants, helping in the research for the short. It was also based on a New York Times article that this story happened to a family. And so obviously we made it in film form, and you elements to it, but unfortunately, it's a reality. It is not just a movie.
Yeah, it's a reality and it's so relevant right now because as soon as the new president
Yeah.
just
Well, this
it's
is
funny, right? Because
the
it's like I noticed that you guys made this into 2023, but it's
2021.
21. You see, it's still
This is
relevant.
this is what is very wild about this whole thing. This is a short made by friends with no money. Like this is literally the indie guerrilla filmmaking. And when we made it, it was like a call for action on immigration reform at the time of like, this just happened, so let's like be sure that no matter the president and no matter who is in power, the bureaucratic process is more human and has more empathy, and so it doesn't matter the political views of people, we can avoid this, right? Obviously, being an indie project, it takes time to finish it, to the post-production. By the time the movie released, the universe flipped and we're back to Donald Trump, and we have like these events happening right now, and it's a little bit, it's the opposite of what we imagine.
Yeah.
In a way, like now is this movie, it's almost like a call for action. It's education more than what we expected it to be, and that's why a little bit I think like with Sam and David, the approach has never been to make a political film, but it's more of like a film about the humanity behind these events, and trying to remember people. That is, when you talk about immigrants, when you talk about these issues, you're talking about people, and you're talking about like families, father, mothers, son, daughters, like grandfathers and grandmothers, and we're talking about humans that need to be treated with humanity, and this is the absurdity of a bureaucratic process, because it starts treating people like numbers, and then like the classic "I'm just doing my job" type of sentence is what justifies sometimes the destruction of someone's life, and yeah, hopefully this film makes a little dent in, even if it's just an emotional dent, into people conscience and beyond your political views.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you. People need to have more empathy for the immigrants. Doesn't matter like where you're from, and they they are human beings. They have feelings and they are like families. They have ties with the other people, and it's
Yeah.
very like the desperation that you see over there is it's kind of that you see on the actors doing it, like the short, is the same desperation that the real immigrants go through. So
Yes. Well,
it's
I've been through this process. I don't know if you did, and it's, you can be the most calm and like confident person, have all the paperwork you possibly imagine, with the most incredible lawyer backing you. There is no way you're not gonna be anxious and like scared, because it is designed somehow to be like that. Like you almost feel like you're walking to these places, like you are at fault of something.
yeah.
It's impossible to don't feel like that, and it's the way these places are designed. And I've been an immigrant all my life because I'm son of Italian immigrants, so like second generation in Brazil. And I was born there. I lived part of my life in Brazil. Then I moved to Italy. I didn't speak any Italian when I moved to Italy, even being I was son of Italians, but I was a Brazilian. When I moved to Italy, I relearned a whole new language, and I'm now relearning to be like from another place. And I moved to the US. When I moved to the US, I think it's the first time I felt a little bit I belong, because it's everyone here is sort of an immigrant, you
Yeah,
know,
from someplace
like
else. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and you know, and I have a lot of friends from everywhere in the world where I could share this identity crisis, you know, of like maybe you're from Guatemala or Venezuela and you're born in the US, but you know still have this strong culture of your family behind you, but you maybe been only a few times to the country, and so like you know when you go back there they treat you as a gringo, and when you're like here you're like not from here, and you know this crisis that exists and a lot of people have. um, and you know I feel like when I was making this film it felt like you know somehow I know exactly the story, even though I have to say I'm insanely privileged, and like my process was smooth and none of this happened, you know, so like I'm not trying to like victimize myself in any way, but it's a process I know well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also an immigrant, but I've been here like for I don't know, almost 25 years. So when I did this process was very smooth and wasn't as a the way that it is right now. But when I did my citizenship, the country was already a little bit different. And I agree with you. When you get into these offices, these government offices, looks like that you're like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong, right? I don't know,
Yes.
for some reason. I agree with you. And it's funny. So let me ask you about the cinematography for the
Hmm.
short, right?
Yeah.
How was like these conversations with Sam and David, like to get to this? But there's some close-up shots. There is like some, and it's
Yeah.
very kind of it's very beautiful. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. It's like just too close or too far away, and it's still
Hmm.
beautiful. How was like these conversations with both of them to get to this point?
Basically, I when I read this script, I read the way it thought about this reference that is this movie called Keen by Lodge Kerrigan. Then that is shot by John Foster. There's a cinematographer I know very well because he was a teacher of mine. And basically, I showed this film to Sam and David. They loved it. They were like, "Is exactly in the style that we were thinking." And one of the ideas that we started from was to bring basically horror genre techniques into a drama. And we like to joke that we made the first bureaucratic horror film ever. It's like a very little subgenre of cinema. And it's so basically with the like this horror tension and fear techniques of like being very close, like very shallow depth of field. The camera is always handheld and it's kind of like moving with the characters and telling you where to look somehow. But I hope, at least I hope, I like to think that it's still not too present and it's still not distracting, you know? Um, and even static shots are done handheld. It's sort of like it's not like documentary per se, but I think it helps to add to the reality of the scenes and of the situation, and when people start running, like we run with them, you know, like it adds to the urgency of the situation. Um, and yeah, I think a lot was based on like how do we get in there, you know, and how we make people like fully live this experience, because it's a short film, you have limited amount of time, there is no time to try to set up three list visual languages and like do too much. Want to have like be very decisive and be right away in it.
I think that's the beauty of short movies because you guys need to get right and you don't have like a lot of days to be doing, but that's why you need to be very planned and very like uh, decision on okay, one this shot, this shot, and then that's why they do it on point. So I love our short movie because of that. Because you guys are tell the story like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or sometimes 30 minutes, but it needs to be very concise. Very.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know, another beautiful thing that is like we basically work with the limitations we had because the camera is borrowed from a friend, and the lenses as well, and all the accessories from someone else. And I'm literally doing the checkout of the camera myself because he couldn't come. And I realized, oh, the 35, it's not usable. Like it wasn't serviced and etc. 35 millimeter. I'm like, well, good. Because anyways, I wanted to use 50 and above, you know. And then we go to the scout of the location and we're like, oh, we can't really look this way because you can tell that it's a school because we shot in a school. And like in this other hallway, oh, you can't really show this other direction. So we're like going up and down the same direction, just turning the people, So you always think like you're looking to multiple hallways, but it's always the same in two different perspectives. And because it's shot on a 50 or an 85, you can't really tell, you know. If there is a moment where like we are basically running in front of some like booths where you present your paperwork, and there we are like here because if you like go slightly off the close-up, you will see that there is like classrooms, but this is to me it was a great kind of not an exercise, but more of a lesson almost. Like, wow, okay, like we decide on this language. A plus is also not, it becomes a strength, not a limitation. Yeah, it's great, such a great lesson.
And are you going to the ceremony on March 2nd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Luckily, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you expect of the ceremony? How do you think it's gonna be? Very emotional.
I have no idea. To us, it's already incredible to be there. So like, we're just gonna have fun and like experience it. I think like, especially the world we come from and the films we've been doing, and like the indie battle that we're in. We're a little bit out of place, but in a funny way, So I don't know. We're just gonna go have fun and see what happens. I think we have a good chance, to be honest. Like as well, I think the film is very good. Like the other films are good as well, but like I think the film is strong.
It is good, as I said, it's like very relevant right now. So
yeah,
it's amazing. Another thing that I want to ask you: are you planning like to do a cinematography for a feature movie? Do you plan that? Do you have anything that you want to do it?
Yes, I might have a project later this year that I'm not sure yet when it's happening, if it's happening, and etc. But I'm really excited about it. And then I have a feature documentary that is premiering at CPH Doc in Copenhagen next month. That is a beautiful film. We're doing the color grade next week. It's executive produced by Darren Aronofsky, and it's a very beautiful film. Yeah, let's see. I hope the Oscars will bring some good projects. Everything feels like it's restarting more now, and more films are happening, and let's see.
Yeah, I think just to be nominated, I think that's gonna already open the doors for you guys. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, and now I know why it's too far away. Okay, now it's better my microphone. I just realized that was so far away. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Another thing that I want to ask you, did you have a favorite movie for the Oscars?
I've seen all of them but The Brutalist.
Okay.
That I am going to see this week.
Be ready.
So
3 hours and 45 minutes.
I know. The only reason I haven't seen it is because I was outside of the country when it came out. Okay. So I don't know. I'm gonna wait maybe to see. I mean, to be honest, a little bit biased. I hope I'm Still Here wins, but
I know. You watch it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, did you
I
like
loved it, and it made me cry a lot. is that, I think is a lot of things in common with our film somehow, of like um this the banality of evil, and people just, yeah, they do their job, and like how a dictatorship happens in a second in Brazil. I think also for the nature of Brazilians, I didn't live it, but my father told me that like, yeah, people in the beginning acted like it's not gonna be that bad. It's, like, um, yeah, maybe nothing is gonna change, and then um, you have this silent battle that this woman has to go through because she's powerless. She cannot really do anything, and um, what can you do when you're against the government as a one person? You have nothing you can do, and the humanity she has, and like, I mean, her performance is incredible. Um, so yeah, I really hope I'm Still Here wins.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. And
that's yeah,
I hope A LIEN as well wins because, as you said, like it's another, like your movie is relevant. I think I'm Still Here is relevant. I
yeah,
also The Brutalist is also really really good,
yeah,
and I also love Conclave. So those are
yeah. Conclave was beautiful as well.
was good too. And anyway, so Andrea, I want to thank you so much for your time. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Muito obrigada.
Obrigado a você.
Obrigada.
Eu que te agradeço.
Você. If you like to support or continue to support Jana on Camera, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos.